The 90s were the decade to be alive in. And yes, I'm aware I wasn't, but I think it's pretty obvious from the fashion to the media that the 90s were all that and a bag of chips. Everyone always focuses on the neon spunk of the 80s, which usually leads to the 90s not getting the appreciation they deserve. The 90s had sensational fashion and media, as well as a dramatic boost in the economy, making them a hella cool and crunky decade. Many of you have probably noticed some of the 90s fashion style returning to our generation's wardrobe. Personally, I'm in full support. The 90s style was super fly, to say the least. Already accessories like scrunchies, crop tops, Doc Martens, and hoop earrings had made the comeback, and we can expect grunge, minimalistic, and hip-hop looks to return soon enough. As Britney Spears once said, "Hit me baby one more time," and we are totally excited for the 90s trends to hit the streets once again. The media was also thriving amidst the 90s. Songs we all know of like Wannabe, Hit Me Baby One More Time, Vogue, Everybody, I Want It That Way, and I Will Always Love You are still known and adored 30 years later. These musicians quickly turned into music legends, a prime example being the Backstreet Boys, who sold 140 million records worldwide within the first 3 years of their careers. This made them the best-selling boy band to this day. Sorry, Wendy. However, the music industry wasn't the only successful type of media. Plenty of TV shows that we all know of today, like Friends, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Seinfeld, Full House, 90210, and The Simpsons, all aired throughout the 90s. There were also movies like Forrest Gump, Clueless, Titanic, The Lion King, and Home Alone. That's a lot of shows and movies for people who didn't even have on-demand television. I mentioned earlier how the economy saw a boost during the 90s, but did I mention how much? Some even mimicked the Roaring 20s by referring to this decade as the Roaring 90s. In the United States, the economy grew almost 4% per year and stocks quadrupled in value. An additional 1.7 million jobs were added to the workforce, and the unemployment rate dropped by half, from 8 to 4%. So you're probably wondering, what was so magical about the economy in the 90s? I could tell you it was simply the optimism of the 20th century, or I could blame it on lower marginal taxes from the 80s, the restructure of corporate America, and the fall of the Soviet Union. But either way, the 90s economy was totally buggin'. Now I get it. I've made you depressed you weren't born 10 years earlier. Whoops. The 90s were a decade that completely changed the world we live in, with the growth of media followed by a boom in the economy and the fashion world, as if anyone could disregard this decade. But to anyone who still tries to underrate the 90s, I'm bringing back a classic 90s saying just for you. Talk to the hand. Thank you.